Hello, welcome back. Hope you've had a lovely weekend in the sunshine again and are ready for our 4th week of home learning. Can you believe it? It's gone so quickly. To this week in writing, we thought we'd do something a little bit different and have a go at writing some poetry. Now, I know from experience in school that sometimes when we start writing poetry, we can panic a little bit at the beginning and think, oh, I don't know what to write. Does this line make sense? Is this an okay start for my poem? But I think with poetry it can actually be quite freeing, because really in poetry anything goes. So you just need to have a go, write down the first idea that comes into your head, and then you can read it back and maybe change a few words or change the order of your words and see how it sounds. Read it out loud and do some editing as you go. So actually writing poetry can be, like I said, it can be quite freeing, because really it's up to you. It's your poem. You can make it what you want it to be. So today in our poetry writing, I am going to give you sort of a pattern or an idea to base a poem on. But what I really want to stress is that it's your poem and you can make it your own. So you don't have to follow exactly the formula that I am going to show you today. So the first thing you need to do today, after you've watched this video, you may have already done it, is to read and or listen to Rachel Rooney's poem 0 to 9. Now Rachel Rooney is a local poet. She lives in Brighton. She's a great children's poet and she's written quite a lot of books for children. And this poem comes from her book, The Language of Cat. So after you've looked at that poem, we are going to try and write a poem of our own, which is similar, or uses a similar idea. So in her poem, she takes the numbers 0 to 9. She looks at their shape and thinks about what they remind her of. And on the website, I've included a little illustration to show you where she got some of her ideas from for her poem. So you're going to do the same thing. You can either look at the numbers 0 to 9, but use some of your own ideas and images, or you could take the letters of your name and write 1 or 2 lines for each letter which describe what the letters of your name make you think of. So in Rachel Rooney's poem, she writes 2 lines for each number, but it's up to you. You could do 1 or 2 or even 3 if you had lots of ideas. Now, I have already recorded this video once, but it didn't save properly, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to sort of reveal to you what I've already written down, and it's a bit tricky because it's like looking in a mirror. But I decided to use my name, here you go, Johnson. And what I thought I would do is just write each letter of my name. Let me get myself sorted here. Write each letter of my name and then sort of brainstorm what that letter made me think of. Now, to begin with, I did find it a bit tricky. I looked at the letter J and I thought, oh, I don't know, this is quite hard. Maybe this is too hard, this task. But then once you've given your brain like a few seconds to have a think, I started to think of quite a lot of ideas. And you might write down loads of ideas and then decide not to use them all in your poem anyway. So, because some of them are better than others. So for J, I thought that it looked a bit like the handle of an umbrella, coming out the bottom of an umbrella. I thought it looked a bit like a hook, and it reminded me of Captain Hook's hand coming out of the bottom of his sleeve. I've realised that's a mistake. It doesn't make me think of a hula hoop. That's this one. The other idea I had for J was that it looked a bit like a cat's tail coming off of a wall, when a cat's sitting on a wall, or maybe even a witch's broomstick or something. And then O, it's obviously a little bit easier. It's a bit like the 0 in Rachel Rooney's poem. It made me think of a hula hoop or a ring. And you know how you put hula hoops on your finger, like a ring? It made me think of a donut, and also of a hole on a golf green where golfers try to hit their balls. So you could do that for every letter of your name, or for the numbers 0 to 9 if you prefer, and then have a go at putting those ideas into lines of poetry, just like Rachel Rooney did. I've written 2 lines for each letter, and what's really important to say, in Rachel Rooney's poem, she made her lines rhyme at the end. But you don't have to do that. I haven't done it, you'll see, because I find that quite difficult. Sometimes you're searching and searching for a word to rhyme with the word at the end of your first line, and it's really hard to think of one. And then when you do think of one, you kind of end up writing quite a weird line of poetry just because you wanted it to rhyme. So if you want to try and make your poem rhyme, that's fine, but you don't have to. So here's the first here's the first two lines of my poem for the letter J. Hang on, let me just try and get this lined up. So, I'm not doing a very good job here today, am I? A protective umbrella, a cat's tail on a wall, Captain Hook's hand sticking out from his sleeve. So those are three ideas of what J looks like to me, but they don't rhyme. Can you spot today's grammar point in those two lines? A protective umbrella, a cat's tail on a wall, Captain Hook's hand sticking out from his sleeve. The tail belongs to the cat, the hand belongs to Captain Hook, so I need an apostrophe S to show possession, and it comes before the S because it's one cat and only one, luckily, Captain Hook. A protective umbrella, a cat's tail on a wall, Captain Hook's hand sticking out from his sleeve. A jamless donut, the hole on a green, a hula hoop's crisp and crunchy ring. So the second two lines are about the letter O. And again, a hula hoop's crisp and crunchy ring, because the crisp and crunchy ring belong to the hula hoop. So that's the start of my poem. Sorry, it's been a bit like this today because I've had to re-record it and I'd already written it all out. So that's what you're doing today. You can either choose to do the letters of your name, like me, your first name or your surname, or you can decide to do the letters, the numbers 0 to 9. I've even given you another alternative activity on the website today, which is, rather than looking at the letters of your name individually, just look at the shape your name makes in general, like the shape, the flow of the letters, the curves and the lines in your name. And you could write a poem that starts, in my name, comma, la 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 la. In my name, comma, la 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 la. And I've put an example written by, I think it's written by a girl whose name is Libby, who's obviously, she was in year 8 when she wrote it, and she's written an example, she's written a poem which is all about her name and what it makes her think of. So you can do 0 to 9, letters of your name individually, or just look at the shape of your name in general. And when you've done written your poem for today, obviously, as always, we'd love to see them. Either just a version of your poem written up, or even if you wanted to perform your poem and read it out loud, that would be amazing if you wanted to send that in to your teacher as well. So have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.